Hey, welcome to today's video. So I've actually got some really good news to share, which is very lovely. And with it being September, which is PCOS Awareness Month, I think what a better time to be able to share this. So the other week I got my bloods done, my bloods tested, and the results came back completely normal, which I was like really blown away by. I knew that they would be like better than last time, because last time I got them checked I was in a really bad place with my PCOS, and I was just, my hormone levels were just all over the place, along with other stuff like deficiencies, and my bloods came back a bit of a mess, to be honest. So when they came back this time and they were like, yeah, completely normal, I was like, what? That's insane. So yeah, like I expected them to be better because I feel so much better, but to actually have those kind of tangible results, such as a blood test, to say, that kind of show my healing, it's really nice to know that what I'm doing is obviously working. So I kind of just want to share just a little video on a few of the things that I have been doing. So I'll get straight into it. So the first one I want to share is, if you suspect you have PCOS, or if you know you have PCOS, if you haven't had kind of a blood test in a while or an ultrasound, then I suggest, going and getting one. Obviously, if you haven't had one at all before, then absolutely I suggest going to get one. A blood test is it's just a really good way of us knowing kind of what's going on in our bodies, and with that information we can then move forward or have a better idea of what we can do to kind of start to balance things out. So things like finding out what our hormone levels are, if we've got any deficiencies, all of that stuff, that's all really important for our own healing, that we know this stuff so that we can then kind of move forward and implement whatever we can to get those results, basically. And the same with an ultrasound. I mean, there's not an awful lot you can do. Like if you've got cysts, it's kind of like, generally it's kind of just a case of you've got them and that's kind of it. They can go away on their own, they can come back, just to make sure that they don't grow too big, and things like that. So just kind of, it's just a way of kind of keeping on top of it. And you might find that you haven't got any, because you don't always have to have cysts to have polycystic ovary syndrome. They can come and they can go, and it's just all about knowing, isn't it? So if we know ourselves what's going on, then we can move forward. So for me personally, there was a number of things that I knew I had to work on. So for an example, my testosterone was super high. So I then was able to do as much research as I could and kind of just immerse myself in all of these ways that I knew could help me lower my testosterone. So that's why it's really important, because you might not have high testosterone, you might have different imbalances. That's why it's really important to know where you're at, so that then you can move forward and work with that. So my number 2 is stress management. So this is so massive. I'm actually going to be doing a video on the spiritual side of healing, especially when it comes to PCOS. But even if you're not spiritual, stress management is so important. Even a doctor will tell you that if you are stressed, which of course if you've got PCOS you're more than likely stressed, because it is stressful. So just learning how to kind of manage that, and making it a daily practice of, even if you're not into, like I said, even if you're not like a spiritual person, just taking like 10 minutes out of every day just to kind of just to be present and just relax and clear your mind, and kind of just engaging in more things that are going to really relax you, like taking hot baths, laying in the sun for a while, or being outside, being in nature, anything that kind of helps you to relax. Of course, if you are spiritual, there's so much that we can do every day, and that's, for me, it's a massive part of my healing. Things like meditation, things like yoga, all of this stuff. So I'm actually going to do a video solely for that. But yeah, stress management is really important, and it's important because everything's got a balance, hasn't it? You can't have you can't balance your hormones but your stress is up here, or if you're healthy, like if you live a really unhealthy lifestyle, you can't expect your hormones to balance. It's all about getting everything nice, and just getting everything as a balance, and just doing what feels right for you. That is the most important thing, because that's where you've got your own balance. I know I'm saying that word a lot, but it's a really important word, I think, for healing PCOS. You've got to find your own rhythm. You've got to find what works for you, because what works for me might not work for you. But the main principles of what I'm sharing will work for anyone, but it's up to you kind of how you implement them into your life. So yes, that is a massive one. Stress management and just regaining that balance, and as much kind of peace back into your life is so important, so important for our healing. So number 3 is supplements, herbs, diet, lifestyle, all of that stuff. So I'm actually going to link somewhere up here or in the description box or both, a video I've done on herbs and supplements and all of that stuff that we can take that really help to balance our hormones and just to help with PCOS in general. That's why it's really important to understand kind of where you're at with your hormones, which is where a blood test comes in really handy. So for example, if you've got really high testosterone, even something as simple as drinking spearmint tea twice a day can really help with that. There's so many supplements like shatavari, there's a lot of like Indian Ayurvedic herbs, and also just vitamins, supplements like inositol. Like I said, I'm going to be doing a really detailed videos on those, because I think there's so much information to share on them. I can't really just kind of squeeze it into a little video like this. So I will link them wherever they end up in the description box or here. Yeah, and diet as well is really important. But again, it's about finding what works for you. I kind of gave most diets a go for my PCOS. Like I tried keto for like half a day. Wow, not for me. It's way too restrictive. I've tried giving up gluten. I'm a vegan, so I do eat completely plant-based, which just really works for me. But I'm not here to say you need to go vegan. I personally think it's the best when you're kind of trying to find balance within yourself. I think, ingesting pain and suffering and stuff like that isn't really just for me. It made sense that I needed to be vegan to fully heal, but it's entirely, you've got to find your own thing that works. Again, giving up gluten and dairy is apparently what everyone with PCOS should do, but again, I just don't think it's kind of like a one thing fits all. Like I said, giving up gluten, I was like less bloated, definitely. But for me, I absolutely love spelt. So obviously if you see my videos on this channel, it's very food based as well, because it's just an absolute passion of mine. But I love organic spelt. And it just makes me so happy. Spelt pizza, spelt bread, all of the spelt. Give me all the spelt. So for me, I feel good when I eat it, I felt good when I gave up gluten, but not to the point where it was like vastly different to when I was eating it. So that to me kind of just meant, well, I don't really need to give it up then. And so it's kind of up to you as well to find out, what works for you. Again, like I said, I tried keto for a day, which was just not me at all, but I know a lot of people do get really good results from that and can get their period back and can fall pregnant just from being keto. So, it's completely what works for you, and you'll know yourself, you'll know how it feels when you're doing it, whether it's completely wrong. My kind of advice is, if it feels really restrictive, then it's probably not that right for you. Being healthy and filling your body with good food is obviously the best way to be. However, you've got to have that balance as well, and it's about learning. So it's not so much like, oh, I can't eat that because of my PCOS, or it's not about kind of restricting yourself, but it's more about learning how your body reacts to certain things, certain ingredients, and then kind of dealing with that yourself, being like, so last time I ate this, I kind of felt like this. So do I want to feel like that? It's more like that, rather than, I'm strictly not allowed to eat this because of my PCOS. Just kind of, it's kind of just doing whatever intuitively feels good to you, and doing more of that and doing less of what feels bad, which yeah, it might be eating bad food, but it could equally be being restrictive. So it's about finding that balance. Again, that word balance is so important, and it's just about finding what really, really works for you and what feels good. And you know, it might take you a few weeks, a few months, even a few years to really get into your own rhythm of what makes you feel good. And that's fine, you know, it's worth it if you feel really, really good, which you will, you can. You know, there's no cure to PCOS, but definitely there, you know, you can absolutely balance things. And that's what's really, really important, is to realize that if your hormones are all over the place, then you can bring them down. You can bring them back to that normal balance. And that's what the goal is here. The goal isn't to get rid of PCOS, because we all know it's a syndrome. There's no cause, there's no cure. It's just about, you know, implementing what we can to find that balance and to basically just maintain that balance as much as we possibly can. So yes, diet and lifestyle, you know, it's kind of your own call. It's what feels good for you. You know, you might try one thing and then realize, actually, you know, I'm not getting the results that I want. I'm not feeling the way that I want to. So then you can change it up again, you know. But it's just all about finding what works for you. So number 4 would be movement. Get moving, get exercising, get doing all of the, you know, get our blood flowing in our body. So again, this is one of those things where, you know, don't overdo it either. You cannot over exercise, because that puts stress on our bodies. So if you so for me, I know, you know, I don't push myself at all. Like, I don't push myself hard in the gym like I used to. Post crazy PCOS symptoms. Obviously, when you're like really in the middle of PCOS, working out is quite hard anyway, because of the I used to lack motivation massively. I don't now. I feel really motivated, but I don't push myself too hard either. I do what kind of feels really, really good for me, like yoga, for an example. It's a way of kind of getting your body moving, connecting to your body, you know, rebuilding that friendship with yourself and your body, because we can be real like enemies with ourselves, and, you know, really feel so disconnected to our bodies and feel so out of control of our bodies. And, you know, so it's really, really important to do things that bring us back to our center, back to ourselves. And I think yoga is a really, really good way of doing that. It's really relaxing. Like, it makes you feel really good. But there's definitely a lot of, you know, doing yoga can definitely help to balance your hormones, 100%. There's even specific yoga you can do for your PCOS. So it's absolutely worth giving them a try. And seeing how you go with it. And it's just really, really nice and gentle, and you're not kind of over pushing yourself. Of course, you know, a lot of people with PCOS struggle with weight problems as well. So, you know, of course it's important to get moving and to get that exercise in, but it's more important to do it from a place of loving yourself and being gentle and kind with yourself than like, I need to go running because I'm such a fat mess, or oh, I need to do this because, you know, I hate myself. Like, that is just the wrong place to approach it from, and you're just not going to get better doing it that way. So even if it just means, you know, going for a gentle walk, doing some yoga, doing things gently, and then, you know, you can ease yourself into kind of, you know, going for a jog or whatever, or you don't even have to. You need to just kind of be gentle and find what works for you. But yeah, movement is very important. And last but not least is having a creative outlet. So for me, like, wow, like, this is just so huge for me. So us as women, we are creative beings, you know, our divine femininity, we are creators. So it's kind of like when we have for an example, when we have the ability to have a child, or to create a life within ourselves, which a lot of people believe is kind of the reason us women are here on earth. So that can really feel a bit like, yeah, we're kind of useless. But it's just not true at all, you know, it's not true at all. And I definitely felt like that for a while. I definitely did. So if you are feeling like that, I would suggest getting creative in other ways, in any way that you can. For me personally, I'm a really creative person, and if I'm not creating, I actually I can feel really depressed, and I can get into a bit of a depression, because for me, I need that outlet. that is just, it's just who I am, you know. I'm a full-time artist. If you don't know, I've got another YouTube channel all with my art. I will link that down below as well. Cooking is a massive thing for me, making recipes. Like, these are the way that I create. So like, for an example, with the art, like, I actually didn't do that for years, like for so long. I actually only started doing it again in lockdown. Like, I was having like a kind of like a bad day, and I just, you know, needed kind of a distraction, and for some reason I just thought, I'll do a drawing, and I just drew my dog. And then it turned into my full-time business. That's what I do full-time. So you know, remembering that is stuff like that, you know, that can actually help us so much, help to kind of distract us, but in a really nice way, and just have that creative outlet. It's kind of hard to explain, but when you've had that, when you can't have a period, and you can't get pregnant, and you can't ovulate, and you can't produce as us women are supposed to, it's just really nice to be able to produce in other ways, and it's just makes you feel a hell of a lot better. You know, and even if you're not artistic or you're not into cooking, there's a billion ways that you can be creative. You know, do whatever feels right to you. You know, you'll know that yourself. Like, I can't say go and draw a picture, it'll make you feel good, because it might not be your thing. But you will know yourself what feels good to you, and what kind of creative outlets will help you. So yes, that was my 5 things. So yeah, they've absolutely helped me. So I'm really hoping, you know, if any of you are kind of stuck and you don't know what to do, then hopefully, you know, if you follow these things and, you know, implement them in your own way into your own life, then hopefully you can tell this story as well and say that your hormones have been balanced. So yes, as always, if you liked this video, then please give it a thumbs up. You know, your support means the absolute world to me, and, you know, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you have anything that you do that really helps with your PCOS, you know, I want to build like a community where, you know, we feel safe, and we feel like we have each other to support each other, because PCOS can be a really scary thing, and, you know, it can be quite alienating, and we can feel quite alone. So, you know, if you have anything that you would like to share in the comments below, I would absolutely love to hear from you. And of course, you know, follow me on my Instagram and connect with me. I'll leave all my links and stuff below. And if you haven't already, then subscribe, because I will be posting more videos about PCOS, more yummy recipes, and all of that jazz. So I hope you have an amazing day, and I will see you in the next video.